Good morning, children. Uh, hope you all are well. And by this time, I hope you have received your periodic test first routine and the syllabus also for English portion. I hope you have received. Still, let me remind you once again that the first chapter, that is A Letter to God, then the first two poems, that is Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice, and the first chapter from the supplementary, the first chapter is A Triumph of Surgery. So this is a syllabus for your periodic test. So children, start practicing how to write it, because you are now first time writing subjective answers in the periodic test, in for the test online. So you have to learn few things regarding this, how to appear for the test, and I hope you have learned. And if you have any confusion, talk to your class teacher, talk to your computer teachers. And regarding English, if you have any queries regarding those chapters, ask me, call me, WhatsApp me. I am ready to answer you. Okay, and today let us start with 100 dresses, first part, and this is the last chapter for before your half yearly exam. Two parts are there for the chapter, part 1 and part 2. Let us start with the first part. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Wanda Petronsky is a Polish girl who settled in America. And this is the story how the Polish, they were bullied by the Americans, and even the children also, because of their odd name, not very used to with this name. It is different from the American names. Their living place, their status, their economic condition, all were different from the Americans. Of course, you can well understand that why it is like that, why the difference was. And Wanda belonged to one of those Polish families who came to America and settled there. Now, and we will see in this chapter that how Wanda replied back to these American friends. Let us see. So today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. As we will move further, we will know that this girl, Wanda Petronsky, why she was absent, what fun, all we will come to know. Usually Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. That was her seat, that is last seat in the last row in room 13. Room 13 was their classroom. Wanda, Peggy, Madeline, their classroom was room number 13. And she used to sit in the last seat in the last row. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. Rough boys means, you can understand that those who were the naughty boys, you can say, of the class, they used to sit over there. Who did not make good marks, even they used to sit. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet. Scuffling of feet means they used to make noise with their boots. That was naughty. They did not study properly. They used to do all sorts of naughtiness in the class. They used to sit, and Wanda also used to sit in one corner with those boys. Scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So, as because they did not study much, they were very playful. So, dirt, mud always on their boots, and that is why that area of the classroom remained dirty always. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. Now, you might think that birds of same feather flock together. That is why Wanda was sitting over there. She belonged to the class where belong to the class in the sense belong to that group of students who do not study, who are naughty. You might think that Wanda also belongs to that group of children, but no, it's not because of that. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. So she was very quiet, used to remain in her own world. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud what the other children used to do of that area of the class. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. That was enough. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat. Now, then the question is, then why was she used to sit over there? If she is not so noisy, if she is not so naughty, then why she used to sit over there? Unless it was because she became all the way from Bogginsides. Remember this name, Bogginside. Here Wanda used to stay, and remember this name. It is an area where the Polish people, the people, those who are not so rich, they used to stay there, Bogginsides. So Bogginsides, and her feet were usually caked with dry mud, and she had to walk down a long distance from Bogginsides to the school. So naturally, her feet, her shoes also used to get covered with dirt and mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky. Might be for that she used to sit over there. That was her own explanation. But nobody knew that why she used to, or rather why she preferred to sit over there. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. But as she entered into the class and took her seat, after that nobody used to think about her. She was not so remarkable or promising child in the class that people would think about her. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours, but when they used to think about Wanda, when she would be outside the school hours at noon time, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, either going to the school or when returning back from the school, they could remember Wanda. When groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the school yard, when they were either going to the school or they were returning from the school. Then sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school. Monday she was not in school. Tuesday also she was not in school. And nobody noticed her absence again. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down from front with other children who got good marks and who did not track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Now, on the third day, Wednesday, Peggy, Maddie, those who belonged to the same class of Wanda, who used to sit at the front bench, they noticed that Wanda was absent. They were just opposite to Wanda. They used to score good marks. They never used to sit at the back. They did not walk over through the mud. So they were absolutely diametrically opposite to the Wanda. But then why did they think of this girl? She was pretty. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late to school. Wanda had made them late to school, that is why they noticed. That means they love Wanda so much that they are waiting for Wanda. They had waited and waited for Wanda. Oh, then that means though they were opposite to Wanda, but they loved Wanda so much that they waited for her and they missed her. That is why they were waiting. But no, that is not the answer. The answer is that to have fun with her, and she just hadn't come because they wanted to bully her. They wanted to make fun of her, and that is why they are missing. They were missing Wanda because they could not enjoy the fun that they had by bullying Wanda. They often waited for Wanda Petronsky to have fun with her. Sorry. Wanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 30 did not have names like that. This is an odd name for the group of the children, those who were in the class in the room number 13. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Allen. There was a boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. Petronsky was very uncommon to them, and they used to make fun of that. Wanda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore, remember, notice, please notice, underline. She always wore a faded blue dress that did not hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. You can well understand that the dress was not very proper. She always wore a faded blue dress, always wear. That was the only dress she used to wear. That was faded blue dress that did not hang right. Even that it did not used to fit her properly also. And it was clean. It was not dirty. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. But it did not, it was never been ironed. It appeared to be like that. That means quite a worn out dress she used to wear, and every day she used to wear the same dress. So sometimes she did not have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn-hard ground. Wanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner as she were talking to Miss Mason. When sometimes Peggy would call Wanda in a very courteous manner, as if she was talking to a very respectable person like Mrs. Mason. Miss Mason. Miss Mason was the class teacher of this class. So as if so courteously she used to talk, as if she was talking to a very respectable person like her teacher. She used to call Wanda like that. Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge, a push, as if we can understand that when we make fun, we do that, we push one another and make a very serious face, as if we are talking on a very serious matter. All pretension. Wonder, she said, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? Miss already asked, but still again asking that how many dresses do you have? 100. Wanda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. 100 dresses? Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence, not a single more word. How many dresses do you have, you said? 100 dresses, and all lined up. Then tied, tongue-tied, not a single more word to speak. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Miss, so costly dresses you have? You have silk dresses, you have velvet dresses? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. Very, very nonchalantly she answered that yes, all 100 and all lined up and all are made of either silk, velvet. As questioned, she answered that yes. Then they would let her go, and then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. And they would not ask any more question. Even Wanda also knew that they would not ask any more question. So Wanda would leave, and before she could leave, they burst into laughter because they could not help them from their laughter. Why? Because 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. A girl who used to wear a single dress, the faded blue dress, which is not ironed properly, though clean but not ironed properly, not fitting on her properly, who wears the same dress, and she says that she has 100 dresses in her closet all lined up. Isn't it not funny? It has to be very funny to them. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she had 100? What a story. How many shoes do you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Another false, another lie. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike. Oh no, every pair is different. All colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game? This is a very funny game that Peggy used to make with Wanda. What is the game? And Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Now Peggy would start, and Peggy and Maddie would wait till everybody would leave the place. Now what is the game? To ask the same question, that how many dresses, to get the same reply, that 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, to make the same another question, how many shoes, to ask the same, that silk, velvet, etc., and to make the fun, that to burst out in laughter. So this is a whole total game planned by Peggy. It is her brainchild. So finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitting her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Now you might think that Peggy is a very cruel girl. Now, narrator says that no, Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. She protected small children from bullies. But what is she doing with Wanda? Is it not bullying? And she cried for us if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda? She would have been surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. Now, the question which comes to our mind, obviously it used to come to her friends also. So if anyone would ask that, aren't you not very cruel to Wanda? Now her reply was that no, why does she lie? Why does she tell a lie always that she has 100 dresses? That's a lie everybody can understand. If any girl has 100 dresses, why will not she wear? And if all the dresses are so costly, and then why she comes to the school every day wearing the same dress? And you know, in those countries, especially in America, they don't have any uniform for the school. They are free and allowed to wear any dress, any colorful dress they want. So now if that is the allowance, so why does she wear the same dress? Isn't it a lie? Everybody knows. That irritated Peggy, and that is why she used to bully her. If you call it to be bully, it is a bully. And if you call it to be cruel, she says that no, it is not at all cruel, because she never cries. She always gives the answer properly. So that means it's no mistake in asking her such question. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that, she had been bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. Maddie could not accept it properly because she herself was poor. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes, that is, old clothes handed down by someone else, that is, the second-hand clothes, you can say. So Maddie is a poor girl. She is not so rich as Peggy, and she does not have so many dresses like Peggy. So she used to wear the hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she did not live up on boggin sides or have a funny name. Maddie is also poor, but Maddie, thank God that at least she doesn't have a funny name like Wanda Petronsky, and she doesn't live in boggin side where those poor people live. At least she thinks that she is saved from bullying by others for not having all this. So she thinks she is she's lucky in that way. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. That means feeling uncomfortable, not very comfortable with those questions that were asked to Wanda. Now that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. Maybe Wanda would not be noticed so much. Wanda would be left on her own if Peggy would not ask the questions of number of dresses she had. That particular question has highlighted Wanda in the class. Otherwise, she would be left alone. So, if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game, but suppose Peggy and all others started in on her next, because she is also poor, so they can start next time, the next target can be she. So, she wasn't as poor as Wanda perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. But at least she would never say that she has 100 dresses as Wanda says. Still, she would not like them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. But even if she would not reply like that, but she doesn't want even that other students start bullying her. That also she doesn't want. And she wished that if Peggy would stop teasing Wanda like this. So this is one part. Let us stop here for some time, and I am giving the next video also. Please watch the consecutive video.